Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Women in STEM, a show that is dedicated to celebrating and exploring the incredible stories, challenges, and successes of women shaping the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics here in the Gambia and beyond. My name is Conteh, your host, and I'm excited to start this journey with you. Over the coming weeks, we'll bring you inspiring conversations with trailblazing women experts, and change makers who are breaking barriers and creating opportunities in STEM. We'll bring you conversations that matter, not just to those women and to people that are in STEM, but also to every Gambian, because science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are not mere career paths. They are the building blocks of better healthcare, smarter agriculture, digital solutions, stronger communities, and a future where Gambians lead and innovate on the global stage. This show is here to spark those conversations, to inspire the next generation, and to explore the relationship between women's participation in STEM and national development. So tune in every week because these are the stories, ideas, and voices that are shaping the future of the Gambia. But before we dive in, I want to say thank you to the Alkamba Times for bringing this show to life. We're working on growing women in STEM into something that is lasting and impactful, and we cannot do it alone. So, if you're part of a STEM organization, a business, or just some individual who believes in supporting women and girls in STEM, consider sponsoring this show because your support can help us uh, share more stories, reach more people, and eventually inspire the next generation, especially young women and girls and innovators who need to see what's happening in this space. Now, for our very first episode, I am joined by Fatih M. Baji, the director of Go Minds Academy. Uh, Go Minds Academy is a digital education institution that is empowering young Gambians through, equipping them with tools that they need to succeed in today's tech-driven world. And today we are talking about the impact of tech education and on women empowerment. Fatih, welcome to the show and thank you very much for joining us today. Fatih, we are not able to hear you.
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on our very first episode of Women in STEM. I am so glad to have you.
Thank you too. I'm honored to be a part of this.
Okay. So today we are talking about creating opportunities, the role of tech education on women empowerment. But before we get into the bigger picture, I want to bring it closer to home, closer to you. Let's start with you. What inspired your journey into the world of tech as a woman?
Okay. Well, first off, hello everyone. My name is Fatu Mbadi. I'm a tech education advocate in the Gambia, and currently serve as the executive director at Go Minds Academy. With a background in computer science, I've dedicated my career using technology as a tool for empowerment, particularly for women and youth. My work revolves around designing impactful learning programs and also mentoring aspiring technologies, ensuring that digital education is not accessible but transformative as well. Coming down to what really inspired me to pursue a career in tech, my journey in tech began with a personal experience. I once faced a frustrating situation within the Gambian national identification card system, wherein I encountered a lot of frustration, and it left me questioning why our system weren't working for us, because I spent like almost a whole day trying to figure out my identification. So, and more importantly, what I could do to change that, like it triggered me since I was inspired. I have to watch a lot of movies wherein everything is automated. You can go all the way to 20 years, but at the end of the day, you coming back getting everything that you needed being systemized is something that inspired me the most. So facing that sense of inconvenience kind of gave me a click that okay, why not? Can't we do something like this for our country? It's a problem that we are facing. How about we solve that? So it was more about a particular inconvenience that I faced, and then I wanted to be a part of people that would solve those problems.
What inspired about it? I think this is in fact it's kind of reminds me about my own journey. So listening to it, it's like taking me back to my own days. When I got into the University of the Gambia studying computer science. This is basically the reason why I got into tech myself. But thinking back, how important do you think early exposure to technology, technology subjects shape your interest in tech? And what do you think are the opportunities or resources that were available to you compared to the resources that we have today to young girls and women that want to get into.
Okay. My journey into tech wasn't easy, as I mentioned earlier. That helped me encountered in as a result, I encountered a lot of problems while into my journey into tech. So the questions still arise. So at the end of the day, when I started, I didn't have a lot of people to look around to. Everywhere, tone is always, especially the male dominant field. I barely see women like me who could understand because it was more like me going at a very slow pace. And then if you understand IT and understand technology, you have to be very fast when it comes to how fast you process information at the end of the day. So I faced a lot of challenges. I couldn't relate to anyone. So it was more like me playing a catch-up game with a lot of my colleagues who were men at that time. Even when I started off my career, it was very hard for me to actually get into the picture. So with time, of course, I was looking up to a lot of women who are in the field and then they are doing well. Those people inspired me a lot. But then at the end of the day, it is a daily struggle that I was hustled with, and it was a struggle for me. So as a result of that, I was like, okay, if I could go this far, considering the kind of hustles that I face in my journey, I can literally help people as a result of that. So everywhere you go, it's more like people trying to empower women towards this field, especially in technology. In most cases, even where I work at Gold Mines, we always put that forward, especially when it comes to opportunities. Me personally, I prioritize women and then say, okay, who are the ladies that we have here as students, as an instance right now, and we assess those ladies first before we actually get to the other guys. Because at the end of the day, from my experience, this is what I see, and then they are more committed into the field. So it works out for me, and I know it works out for every other individual out there.
Indeed, I think personally I can attest to that. I was a woman. At some point before I came to Morocco, I was there on an internship, and then I saw
Mm-hmm.
firsthand how women are being encouraged there. How although we were not much back then, we were just I think three of us were there, but you could see
Yeah.
how they asked to you do more,
You,
to be more. So if that is still the culture there, I have no doubt about what you're saying. Really.
exactly.
Now,
So
now
it's
you,
an
you,
easy
you
job.
I think from your restaurant, I sensed something about access there. Now, what are some of the strategies that Go Minds really puts in place to make sure that your programs are more inclusive, include more women? I know you mentioned that you prioritize women, but what are the strategies, the various strategies that you put in place to make sure that your programs are more inclusive, include women?
Okay, let's say right now we are working towards a project, a talent incubation project, wherein we partner with a lot of organizations. We reach out to organizations who might be interested with working with us with regards to having to access talent, especially the students that we are training with regards in areas like data science, data analytics, just programs that we offer at Gold Mines Academy. So, in as much as we partner with these organizations, and then they might at some point they request for interns that they might want to work with. So in that event, there is always a selection criteria that goes around every time we receive a request. My first question is always, okay, what are the ladies that who are the ladies that we have on the ground who are competent for this role at some point in time? And it's always the ladies that are assessed first. In most cases, like I'm called biased for programming it that way. But at the end of the day, is what I stand for, and it's something that I want. Let's say I just want a more inclusive space wherein women are into the space more, so as to uplift other people. That's my sole purpose of doing that. And then from starts like since June, 11 of 20 of the students are female, and then they are working in tech related organizations right now. So that's basically
Oh wow. I think that is quite impressive. Although I think today when when you see sometimes when you see job opportunities, for example, they will say, okay, this position women are more encouraged to apply and all that. Sometimes
exactly.
people find it like rather biased, but women, I think women need to be pushed, and because sometimes women don't really go out there out of their comfort zone to apply for positions. Maybe they think they are not going to be considered, or there are more men in this space, for example, so they have less chance. But when you put that phrase there that women are encouraged to apply, I think that really boosts their morale, and they're encouraged to apply and kind of have that confidence that they can do it.
Hmm. I've been in that position, by the way, because it's always about self doubt in yourself. Let's put it this way. When I started, if there's any opportunity out there, I'm always reluctant to apply. I'm always like, okay, I don't think I can do this because, of course, I don't find it in such a way that a lot of women out there are there. So I feel like it's more of a male dominant field. So I'm not going to try it because I know what I'm facing right now. I'm not ready to actually get to that space of wherein I need to challenge myself again. So I always doubt myself. It applies to every other individual out there. So to change that sense of narrative, in most cases we need to put forward a lot of women in the space so as to inspire other girls to actually take up some of these opportunities that they have out there.
Indeed. Now, Kyle, let's talk about the rural areas. For many young girls that may be watching, like I said, especially those in rural areas, our experiences and exposure, with to tech and tech-related subjects and resources can be very rare. So, what kind of encouragement do you think and opportunities do you think are crucial to, spark their interest in tech?
Okay. Of recent, we have been having students all the way from Basse, and accessibility is always a problem, especially due to internet connectivity is quite a challenge, especially in the rural area. But then, seeing that they are committed and then they are actually interested in pursuing tech careers, I think it's something that we can initiate and look forward to because at the end of the day, if you can see people moving all the way from Basse to Caraba Avenue to actually take a 3 months course is quite something that we need to look into. Plus, to when we started of Women's Academy, I think the second batch of our students were coming from Bara. So, if we are seeing things like that, and then I believe we need kind of an initiative wherein it's more of inclusive to also enhance them when it comes to some of these access tools that they can use. Plus,
Mhm.
sorry, my mic. All right.
That's okay.
Yeah. So where was I? Having to see these people there, even of recent, we are trying a program wherein we need to visit rural areas to see how best we can actually project our trainings over there to see how best we can actually have them on the board when it comes to digital literacy.
I really look forward to that, and the impact that it would make, especially in those areas where they are under resourced and maybe most of them are not really aware enough when it comes to
Mm,
tech. I think that definitely would be really helpful. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be watching our in your space, inshallah.
inshallah. Thank you.
Now, from your experience, what do you think are the biggest barriers to women and girls face in trying to learn tech here in the Gambia?
um First off, based of my experience when I started off, I mean from the university, being a woman and taking the computer science program, in most cases, the way it's programmed out there is more like, okay, you need to be very good at program, which you cannot sideline at this point in time. But then at some point, I think there should be more of knowledge given out when it comes to the areas in tech. It's not always about these limited areas wherein you need to understand how to program to be able to become a individual or any sort. But then at the end of the day, if your program are limited in a way that, okay, you need to understand this first before you move further. Of course, it's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but then at the end of the day, people need to be informed when it comes to these things. Like the career paths need to be very clear out, and then some of these tools that they might need to learn first before they actually venture into it. Let's say, for instance, I might suggest, okay, how about we introduce an introduction of technology in junior school or high school, wherein students can have an insight of what they might need to do. Let's say, for instance, if somebody graduates and they realize that, okay, I'm interested in IT, but then first you need to figure out what you want to do at the end of the day. So being that individual, and then at the end of the day, you went to the University of the Gambia, and then that sense of limitation being put forward there, that if you cannot program, which is almost the nightmare of every student. When I started it was a challenge for me. It was very challenging, so I have to push and then push to get to a certain limit wherein I have to understand basic programming. I could have given up at some point, but then coming back to an individual that has no idea of what to choose, especially when it comes to career path, I think these are very important. We do set it out there, and then it has to start from the grassroots.
Indeed, I think digital literacy at any level is quite important. I remember when I graduated from high school, and we did not used to take our IT classes seriously at all. At all, we
Exactly.
had one period, and then it's not sometimes it's not even about the students, it's the school, like the way they structure IT. It's like
Mm-hmm.
one of the most, it's like the image they're already portraying to the students is like this is one of the most useless
Most
subjects that you can,
exactly.
because
Get
they
it.
allocated one period for the whole week, and then even that period sometimes you go half period you're out, or maybe the you know the teacher himself or herself is doing something else, and just asking you guys to be there and maybe just trying to see what you can do yourself. He's not there to supervise. And anyway, I think these things really also affect us going to
And
school, especially at high school.
exactly. I've always advocated for this. This school system is so limited that you have only three career paths that you can choose from. Of course, others could be a point, but then at the end of the day, if you're an A student, automatically you have to go into the medical field, and then the only option at some point is a medical doctor. And if you're a commerce student, accountancy is just the go forward for you. And then likewise with arts, either you choose to become a lawyer or something. But then at the end of the day, there are a lot of other fields that students can explore, especially when it comes to socioeconomic development. It takes a lot of areas to come together to be able to provide a certain kind of a development that can be put forward. But at the end of the day, if people are limited in these three industries, it's going to be very hard for us, because at some point, every time we need certain services or some of this sort, it's always outsourced there. What if we have individuals in the Gambia that can literally do this? So that's my whole point.
Exactly. Now we're talking about schools, the role of schools, the role of the community. What do you think families and schools, communities, and even the government? How do you think all of these can really work together to provide more resources and exposure to create that supportive environment for girls interested in STEM?
Okay, it's always on the grassroots. We need to start early. Introducing tech education in school and making it relatable is quite important. We also need visible role models or mentorship programs, let me put it forward, where spaces wherein individuals can learn, most especially young people. Like in most cases, you can see other countries wherein they sponsor programs to empower people to actually take some of these programs, especially IT. Like if you look back in history, where in most of these developed countries, they invest in a lot of these programs wherein young people are empowered to actually try most of these areas, and then they make it fun in such a way that, such as boot camps, summer boot camps, and then the like. But then in the Gambia, this is not quite common. Very few people are doing it. If we can look forward to trying to have more of these programs, and then empower a lot of these people to actually take a look into this, like let them experiment it first to see if it works out for them or not.
Indeed, thank you very much for stressing that. If you're just joining us, viewers, this is Women in STEM show here on the Alkamba Time. And today I am talking to Fatih Mbazi, Executive Director of Government Academy, and we're talking about creating opportunities, the importance of tech education on women empowerment. Now, Fatih, I want us to bring this back to Government. Now, so once a woman finishes a program at Government, for example, what kind of doors have you seen open for them? You know, in terms of jobs, in terms of business, or even their confidence in terms of their careers in tech?
Okay. Women's Academy, quite often, most of the programs that we offer is more like we are the only ones that offer it from the start. They feel in fields like data science and data analytics. For now, from my perspective, it's the only institution that offers these programs. But then, in an instance, an individual graduates there. In most cases, let me start with this. Students do come in, especially people that are not well informed. They will come in with the perception that, okay, since I'm not going to school, let me just engage myself. After engaging myself, I get the certificate. I can apply for like data entry clerk kind of a role for a job, or work at a supermarket to showcase that I have learned IT skills, because they know that it's key, especially in this era. So they would rather choose that sense of a certificate to apply for this kind of job. And we always make it clear to them, this certificate can take you a long way. It comes down to you. Like, provide that sense of competency in you. Provide that sense of, okay, this is what I'm capable of. You give me this kind of a job, I'll do it. But then that comes down to what you want for yourself at the end of the day. You wouldn't want to become a data entry clerk at the end of the day. It's not something that you dream to become, but then you settle in for that. So we make them understand that, okay, this is not the only field that you can limit yourself. You can choose from biggest perspective. Okay. So the tip project is aside. That comes down to taking the most committed students who are willing to learn and then are open to the industry. After graduating, in most cases, students are taken well before they even complete their programs. So um, other students, even outside the TIP project, in most cases, our students are always celebrating their milestone. You will see a student after completing a program or did a project work, they will share it on their social. Just last week, a student came to me, explained to me that because of this content that I posted, a company reached out to me and then would want to work with me. So she's currently working with the company, and it's something that inspired me more. Let's say, let's put it forward. If you can train people on this area, and then at the end of the day, it's impactful. Is something that I really like seeing, and it inspires me more to actually do a lot of what I do right now.
Quite inspiring. I hope to see, really, I hope to see more IT institutions in Gambia do things like this. And I agree. I think Grow Minds is really one of the few institutions that really take their time to provide a very rich curriculum to their students. I think there was this time that I went to the website. In fact, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to see if I could take one of these courses online, but then that was not possible, unfortunately. But I really hope that you guys put that into consideration,
Sure,
maybe at some point.
sure, inshallah.
And in fact, this brings me to my next question. You know, when you look at the Gambia, even though with the gradual change in the narrative where many women are getting into tech, the problem still remains that women, even if they get into tech or you know start learning into tech, they have this problem of dreaming big. They don't dream big. Like most of us will say, okay, I'm going to do this IT program because it is going to be maybe it is going to give me an advantage when I maybe work for try to apply for work maybe in a supermarket like you said, or you know just as help help desk positions here and there. But there is still a big gap. I think there is still a big gap in terms of the technical aspects, really technical aspects of tech. You know, you talk about software development, you talk about cybersecurity, you talk about
Mm-hmm.
AI, you talk about data science. Women are still really I'm talking about Gambian women here. I don't think I see that Gambian women really don't get into the technical aspects of sex. So what do you think are some of the misconceptions that exist, and how do you at Mind help women overcome, these mental barriers?
Okay. Back to what I said earlier when it comes to most of them coming in, especially women. It's funny to hear this, but this is what I have learned over the years. And coming down to questioning them, okay, at the end of the day, why do you choose to do this course and what do you hope to gain at the end of the day? One student confidently told me I don't want to stay home because I might be cooking. I completed my grade 12. So staying at home, I'm entitled to cooking every day, which I'm not ready to do every time. So I would rather go in for an institution or enroll into an institution to get myself engaged. But then I let her know that, okay, you spent your resource, you invested your time. At the end of the day, something that you must get at the end of the day, this is what you need to go for, look for. At the end of the day, to see, and she argued that tech is not my field of interest. And then I was like, okay, regardless, you're still going to need tech skills to be able to thrive in today's digital space. She agreed to that. But into her program, she learned that there is a lot of things that she can literally venture into, regardless of whether she choose to actually engage herself or not. But then she saw the potentials along the way. Also, along the side, understanding that sense of pattern from a lot of women coming in with the same kind of a perspective, I just see it as a point of, okay, why not I have this sense of organization wherein women will see their potentials. That is Innovate Her. It was launched in February earlier this year. I launched this organization wherein I pick selected number of people and then work with a team to actually help them to uplift themselves when it comes to career wise, especially in tech, and also how to build confidence within themselves, and then giving them that sense of purpose that there is more to this world than what you just see on the surface.
Exactly. I think you're doing a tremendous job, Father. You should really keep it up. And I hope to see really more of this. I always say this. Like, we always say women in tech, but at some point, it's not just about the women and girls themselves. Sometimes it's about creating opportunities for them, providing that exposure so that they feel like that you cannot also get into something. Even you might have a passion for something, but you feel like, okay, when I get into this, okay, what's going to be next? For example, if I take one of your programs at Grow Mind, for example, after all that, what is next? But with your efforts, working with them after their programs and involving them with real life stuff that they be doing after their program and all that, it's really commendable.
So thank you.
Now, another really important thing when we talk about women in tech, when we talk about technology in general. Now, let's not just say women in tech. When we talk about technology in general, you hear some people really. I think that happens in Gambia. Like people are not really willing to embrace tech because they are still they still cling on to traditional traditional paths. The first thing that you think about is maybe into the medical sector, or I'm going to do nursing, stuff like that. Personally, I take this example from myself. When I graduated from high school, I did not go to the school of ICT directly. I went and applied for medicine. The first thing I applied for was medicine. So after I applied for medicine, I went to that interview and I was rejected. And then, I was there. I did not know what to do. But my brother he is still a computer science graduate. I was a software developer and all that. He was really my first mentor. That really inspired me to get into tech. Now, I want us to discuss what unique opportunities do you think tech skills open up for women and girls that might not have been possible through traditional career paths such as maybe medicine, such as nursing, and others.
Um, okay. I didn't get most of your questions, but I got the last part. The network was kind of breaking. Okay. So
Oh, should I do you need
having
to repeat?
no, it's okay. Um, having to understand that from my perspective, because at the end of the day, tech was not my priority. I never thought that I would pursue a course in IT. I never thought of I would take pursue a degree in computer science. That was never my intention. But because of the challenge that I faced based on an inconvenience, so I decided, okay, I want to be part of these people. That inspired me. My sole interest was in the medical field. I wanted to pursue a medical degree at the end of the day, but things do happen. So understanding that, I think it all comes down to having to make people understand the feel of tech at the end of the day. It's not something that because when I started off, even when I decided to pursue a degree in computer science, my teachers from high school do tell me, okay, why didn't you do medicine? Why didn't you do all these other courses? Because people feel like it's always the last option back then. It's always the last option. Let's say, for instance, you did not get A or B in a certain kind of a course. Then, if you were not able to get into that kind of a department, you might choose to go into other departments. So, a lot of people expected me to actually pursue medical courses because that was always what I have always talked about. When I finished, this is what I wanted to do. But surprisingly, I started off with computer science. So a lot of people felt like I didn't have a choice back then. But understanding that this applies to a whole lot of other people because it's just the perception that we have with regards to most of these fields, especially in engineering and technology. So if the whole community or society sees the field in that manner, it will be hard for somebody to decide unless you have done a lot of research when it comes to those areas. I personally didn't do a lot of research when it comes to those things, but then at the end of the day, it's something that I wanted to participate in, and I was like, okay, why not I do this? But in an other instance, if somebody out there didn't have that choice, let's put it in an instance that you couldn't get into the medical school, so you decided to go into the IT field. It's always hard for you. It will always be hard for you because at first it wasn't your area of interest, and it's going to be very hard because you're not interested at some point. So you need a purpose to actually get into that field. If you're not driven by a purpose, it's always hard for you because I have seen not one, not twice with people that have no choice but then to actually enroll into the field of computer science, always finding it hard to actually get through it because it's not an easy course. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be easy unless you want it to be easy. But to start off with, okay, it's going to be very hard field, especially if you start with the University of the Gambia computer science department. Is the start is always like that. It's very challenging. So if you don't have your toes on top of things, it's going to be very hard for you to actually keep up with.
Exactly. And just to add on to that, I hear you mention, the community having a role to play. I think this is quite important and we need to also talk about it. So, for example, when you say, I mean, it happens in our communities when you tell somebody you're studying computer science or maybe information systems or stuff related to that. The first
Mm-hmm.
question most of them will ask you, okay, when you are done with that, what are you going to be, an IT technician or what? You know, in your mind, the community has already put it in your mind that this is something that it's not big enough for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so for them, when you study tech, maybe you're going to open a shop somewhere to repair, phones, repair computers, here and there. And that is something that you don't want to go get a degree just to come and do that. And I think that is also why having mentors is very, very important. For me, I think having my brother as my first mentor was very, very, very helpful. So because when I applied to, medical school and um, I was not admitted, unfortunately, I was there. I was so frustrated. I could not really
Mm-hmm.
do anything. My brother was there. So if every woman and girl have that support system, have that somebody that they look up to, have that somebody that will give them, information about tech and the opportunities it can really open for them. I think that will help a lot.
Sure. Mentors do play
And I
a
think
role. And then if you are starting seeing, for me, I believe that once you see a lot of women in the field, you are encouraged, like you're pushed. Because when I started off, I didn't know a lot of these ladies that are in the field, the likes of Auntie Jojo. She had been in
mhm,
the field and then she's thriving. If I had known her earlier, then it would have been a different case, because the moment I knew about her, I was like, okay, she's doing great. I think I can do something literally like she's doing. So that inspired me and is the reason why I got to this point.
exactly. So support groups are really, really helpful. We have women in STEM Gambia. They're doing extremely well. Women supporting women, encouraging them, cheering them on all the time. It has
Mm-hmm.
been really helpful for me personally. And I met a lot of people there that alhamdulillah have been really, really helpful to my tech journey. And I
Sure.
think that is where these programs like this also come in the importance because, for example, okay, maybe someone out there is looking, is watching, and then they're curious about tech, maybe they're not really sure, but they see you talk about your experiences, your successes, and everything you're doing, and they're like, okay, this is something that I want to do, and then that is really going to motivate them, and hopefully we'll have way more women in tech, and possibly even a lot of technical areas related to tech STEM in general.
Sure.
Now, let's talk about financial independence. So, for most women, access to income is a major part of empowerment, and I think tech has a way of changing that dynamic in many ways. How do you think tech can be a tool for financial independence for women?
Okay. Of course, text comes with a lot of opportunities out there. It provided an opportunity wherein, especially post COVID, wherein people started seeing the value that technology can actually provide for our daily lives when it comes to providing access for a lot of people to from home. Because at the end of the day, in most cases, for women that are career focused with the fear of, okay, I'm going to settle down, I have a lot of responsibilities aside from my career, how are they going to balance that? So understanding that, okay, most of these tech fields offer that sense of flexibility. You can work remotely. So understanding the fact that, okay, with this kind of field, it aligns. So for me, I personally believe that women are more suitable for tech related fields because it provides them that sense of flexibility to balance their life and also their professionality.
Exactly, and I believe this really resonates with a lot of people. For me, it resonates with me a lot because I I have this um um sorry vision where I want to really have a way to balance my career and duties as maybe a mom, a wife, and then I look at tech and I see how really flexible in it and how it provides me that opportunity to be able to work from home at some point. If for example you want to be both a career woman and a mom or wife, tech is definitely for you because like you said, you have a lot of opportunities to do remote work where you are paid and it's basically as good as going to the office and working from an office basically.
Exactly.
Now, looking at the broader picture, Fatih, when people talk about development, usually they link it to, good roads, good electricity, but, good quality of life. But really, people, especially skilled, empowered people, empowered women, are just as important to. So, how do you think it is? How critical do you think, human capital, especially skilled women in tech, can really drive sustainable development in the Gambia?
All right. Of course, infrastructure wise, Gambia is yet to be in that position when it comes to IT infrastructure. It comes down to even with our internet connectivity is always a challenge. If you live in certain areas, it's always a problem in that regard. So infrastructure wise, we can work in that area to have a lot of people, even though today with the help of social media, a lot of people have an understanding of how things work out there. They understand the daily lives of people. They understand how a lot of people do and a living when it comes, especially the of recent content creators, how they monetize their platforms, and also seeing a lot of them, and then seeing a lot of Gambians getting into that space. Like for me, it's more like seeing what is going on when it comes to with the government, seeing what is going on. You will realize that a lot of the times, students, let me put it that way, students at first, the moment they graduate from high school, especially those that wouldn't be able to get admission into the university, their option now is becoming a content creator because they have seen at forefront how a lot of lives were transformed with content creators. They started from zero, and then now they're telling their stories when it comes to how they started and then where they are today. So seeing that it has inspired a lot of people, like it's not something that we can undermine. Understanding that sense of perspective, people need to be educated on how to go about these things because a lot of people spend a lot of their time and resources to ensure that okay they get out there. I've seen a lot of students or content creators right now in the Gambians who are pushing forward. At the end of the day, they are not getting anything in return. So starting from that, seeing that a lot of Gambians want to be in the sense of a space, we can empower them in a different way to show them how things can work. First, it has to start with educating them, like providing with a sense of digital with digital literacy to understand that okay, this is a digital platform. I need to understand how it works. I need to understand how to monetize it. I need to understand how to actually build my career on this. For me, when it comes to development, we have to look at it at the grassroots. What is really going on? What are my people more into? Like, let's say in an instance, okay, we understand that every now and then a lot of these young people are on the social media. I will say an example is TikTok. They're on social media hoping to build a life on this platform. So seeing that, how can you help people like that at some point in time is what we need to consider right now. I hope you can hear me. Hello?
Yes. Oh, sorry about that. I think it was my network connection, but I did not hear the last part. Because
Oh, okay. I was saying, seeing the fact that a lot of these young people hope to get a life out of this platform that they are using, I think it's something that we need to actually look into and see how best we can empower them to see the bigger picture of things.
exactly, and in fact, when you talk about content creation today, AI especially has really changed that landscape. So
Mm-hmm.
investing, if all of these content creators that you're talking about have AI skills, and they can work with AI, they learn AI and how to use it to create better content. I think that is a worthwhile investment.
Exactly. So it comes down to, for me, I believe in whatever kind of a initiative that is coming in that people are not familiar with. It has to start with educating them first. Like they need to be educated on how to go about things. Let's say if a student or somebody would want to actually start content creation, they need to be educated. Even though like it's an open platform where anyone can hop into and then start into something. But at the end of the day, a lot of the young people in the Gambia are hoping to get a life out of it. It's only a few that can literally make it out there who understand and are very smart enough to understand how to work or navigate it. But then a lot of these other people might need education to actually understand how it works.
Exactly. So I think gone are the days when people rely on traditional means to do everything. If, for example,
Exactly.
you were still working on doing something using traditional means, and we have other people maybe using tech or using really the available resources that they can use today to create more content than you, they're definitely going to do way better than you. And
Exactly.
you cannot really blame anyone but yourself who did not take the time to learn about these technologies that are available today and improve yourself with them.
Exactly.
Now, Father, you as as a woman in tech, and as a tech educator, how do you and other women, maybe at Go Minds or other women that you see in the tech space, how are they using tech to solve real problems? Because when you talk about empowerment, also you also have to talk about the responsibilities that come with empowerment. So, how do you see women use tech not just to empower themselves, but to also help solve real problems that the Gambia is facing? Let's say healthcare, agriculture, finance, or even entrepreneurship.
Exactly. So for me, at Go Minds, literally, we don't only train them on digital literacy. We give them entrepreneurial mindset through giving them projects to work on to help them onto their entrepreneurial skills. Also, it doesn't only stop there, like they have to be innovative. And then a lot of people feel like being innovative comes down with you building smart systems wherein it does one or two or three things. Like it has to come with having to work with the problems that we are facing with, local problems that we are facing with, and then come up with solutions on how to actually solve those problems. That is why in most cases you realize if you actually work with our platform, you realize a lot of our students are always presenting or pitching these ideas. That comes down to the local problems that people are facing, and then how innovative they can get actually in solving those kind of problems. So innovation comes into the picture first, because for me, it was an inconvenience that I faced, and then I wanted to be a part of people that are going to solve those kind of problems that we face. So every time I'm trying to actually communicate with this student, I make them understand that okay, you don't have to be very. Let's say, for instance, you realize that America launched a system that does one or two things for American. That doesn't imply that Gambians need this. So you have to put it in a Gambian context, meaning local context, to understand that okay, it has to work with Gambians. So think about it. Let's say, for instance, we are in the Gambia right now. I might choose the problem of employment, because it has been almost something that we have been talking about for the longest time. Youth unemployment has always been a problem. In my experience, now I don't believe in that kind of a concept, because I've seen the picture where a lot of people are not working right now. So understanding that people do have this problem of being employed is something that we need to work on. So that brought the whole thing about the TIP project that I mentioned earlier, talent incubation project, wherein we connect opportunities to skills to opportunities at the end of the day. So it's an innovative approach with context to what the Gambian is facing right now.
Brilliant. Now, let's talk about scaling this kind of impact. It
Mhm.
definitely requires teamwork. So, what role do you think the government institutions and even other private businesses different from governments can play to support women in tech and advance national development?
Okay. For me, I believe that building a more inclusive space. I'm not going to say women are not given the opportunities in most cases, because of recent they are given more opportunities than ever in every other sector. I'm not going to put it that way. It's more like women taking it upon themselves to challenge themselves. That is what the context is about. It's about women taking a challenge, taking up the challenge to actually move forward with some of these opportunities that they have out there. But then when it comes down to what the government could do when it comes to empowering or helping initiatives like this, collaboration comes into play. If we all have the same kind of a problem, we are facing the same kind of a problem, the only way we can come out of it is we collaborate and then see how best we can come up this kind of problem. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Sure.
you rather. So you mentioned collaboration. Is there any way governments right now is collaborating with other tech institutions for something like this? Is that happening?
Sure. So we partnered and collaborated with Kids in Technology when it comes to mentorships and trying to help students understand that networking is very important in your field, regardless of whatever that you're doing. So in most cases, you realize that we are always collaborating when it comes to mentorship programs, especially in thought programs. We are always together to ensure that these young people understand what is going on, and then this is how best we can actually help them to understand what to choose from, where to choose from, especially in the field. They have a lot of opportunities. So we always have that sense of collaboration when it comes to helping people to understand the field better.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Exactly. Talking about opportunities, what areas in tech do you think have the most hold the most promise for Gambian women in tech? Let's say over 5, 10 years.
In the Gambia.
Yes, in the Gambia.
Okay. Right now, digital marketing is literally paving the way, especially from my experience and what I have encountered, especially with people that we are partnering when it comes to getting students overboard with opportunities to work with organizations. A lot of these organizations
Mhm.
are looking for digital marketing individuals. So we realize that we have a lot of businesses coming up, and then everyone wants to be visible online. So they need individuals that literally can go in for. AI is another field right now that is actually booming, but Gambia is yet to be in that sense of space to actually get there. But then I can predict in the next 5 years, we can literally need more AI individuals that can work at the forefront of um, organizations.
And how do you see women's participation in these areas that you mentioned, say digital marketing?
Right now, it's quite improving because when we started off, we have 2, 3 people coming in. Right now, even you get to a class, you might see 5, 6 women at a ratio of 5 to 1 ratio of women compared to the guys um, taking programs into digital marketing than other fields. So we see more women participating in it. But I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of them might have this perception, okay, it's the easiest course to pursue, which is not quite very accurate, but then they find it more convenient for them to learn. But then from the influence that we have with them and then explaining to them what is going on, this is how they get their choices when it comes to choosing which course they would want to do with us.
Indeed, I think I can remember when I was in Go Mines and learning programming and all that. I find this programming, learning JavaScript, trying to make sure that I have a very strong foundation in programming. Although I love programming, but for me, I was more into digital marketing, right? Even before, digital marketing became like a huge thing in Gambia, I was like, me, I want to do digital marketing because I know I have a passion for content creation, writing, stuff like that. But Go Minds was not into digital marketing at that time, so I'm really glad you guys
Exactly.
did digital marketing now.
Sure.
Now, we were talking about
Sure.
access. We were talking about schools, not, yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't hear you.
We mentioned, yeah, sorry. You mentioned schools, having students having exposure to tech subjects, all that posing problems. Now, if you have a chance to talk to policymakers directly today, what would be your top three recommendations for improving women's access to tech education?
Okay. I would recommend introducing IT as a whole field, not as a subject, but a whole field like they would do for science, commerce, and then arts. Like it should be a whole different dialect where wherein students can literally choose from. Let me put it that way, because you realize even with the education system, the way it's programmed, all the way to grade 9, like you have a lot of courses that you do with the rest of your colleagues, your mates. Let me put it that way. And when you get to like grade 10, that's where the separation comes into place. So I would recommend having a whole IT as a field that they can choose from, not as a subject in particular.
I think this will definitely go a long way. Personally, if I had like a whole field like IT to do in high school, I might not have done science at all.
Mm-hmm.
And specialization
Exactly.
really starts early. And today, unfortunately, in Gambia especially, you see people specializing only at maybe master's level. But you realize you have once you get there, you realize that you have really I would not say wasted, but a lot of years have gone by, which could have been used to start some form of specialization, you know specializing on something that you really want to do. Like this is something that I want to be doing, say 5 years, say 5, 10 years to come, and you start as early as maybe high school. Definitely, I think you're
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be an expert.
Exactly. Even with
Now,
the, it can be programmed in a way that okay, they understand the career paths that they can choose from, like understanding that, let's say from grade 10, like any other subject that is being issued out there, from grade 10 you're taught on the different career paths that you can choose from, even the way science is programmed, like you study that a biologist does biology, a chemist does chemistry, a chemist
mhm,
does physics, and so on. The same can apply to with IT. Like a student can learn that okay, if I choose to be this program, this is what I need to do. If I choose to become a cybersecurity individual, these are some of the areas that I need to focus on. So understanding that all the way from grade 10 all the way to grade 12, understanding that, and then if you're somebody, of course, IT is not that difficult. I'll put it that way. It's not difficult. It's just the exposure that we don't have early. So the moment you get into it, you feel like you have a lot of things to learn. So that makes it difficult, understanding that
exactly,
you have, yeah, you have a lot of things to learn, and then you have limited time, because okay, if you are to do BSc, this is 4 years. First semester you're given 6 different courses to learn, and then understand you don't have the basic concepts to actually work with this program. So you understand the pressure comes down with okay, I need to learn 1, 2, or 3 to get to 6. So before you get there, you're already discouraged, so that limits a lot of people.
exactly. I remember when I went to UTG studying computer science. It was so overwhelming. It was very overwhelming having to learn programming and other 5 courses in the same semester. I think, like you suggested, when we have like a field, an
Mm-hmm.
IT field in high school, just like we have science, just like we have commerce, just like we have arts, like you mentioned. For example, if you want to do data science, this and this and this and this are the ones that are the things that you want to focus on. If you want to be a software developer, for example, you talk about the back and you know the front and you know all of those career paths. I think that would have been helpful. That would help me, and I believe it will help a lot of women that want to get into tech way back from high school.
Exactly.
Now, before we finish, Father, I want you to imagine a young woman that is watching our show today, who maybe is serious about tech, or maybe they are unsure where to start, um, or whether they even belong in tech. What would you say to her?
Okay, is this my last word?
Yes, think of
Hello.
it as your last word.
Okay. First, of course, it's going to be very challenging, especially if you are starting, but it's different now. And the more technology advances, the easier it gets to actually have access to information. And then we process information faster than ever since the onset. But then it doesn't matter. Just start where you are. It's never too late. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be curious and willing to learn, because willingness to learn is what gets you to wherever you want to get to. And then the most important part is surround yourself with people that will uplift you and then see the path through where you want to get through. Okay, who can guide you. And to come down to tech is not just for coders, it's for creativity, problem solvers, and also change makers. So that's all.
Thank you very much, Fatih. I hope if you're a young girl out there watching this show, you are inspired already to get into tech and you can do it. If Fatih here can achieve so many things in this tech space, I think this is something that you can do as well. So,
Exactly.
Father, thank you very much. Thank you so much for being here. You know, not just for being our very first guest, but for being such a very brilliant light in the tech space. I think your story, your work, and your passion really shows us what's possible when women are given the tools, the support, and the belief they need to thrive, especially in fields like STEM.
Sure. Thank you so much. And I'm really honored. I'm very proud of you. I think we started this together. My journey started with meeting you at Goldmines. You were one of the first people that I've interacted with. And seeing us here talking about our career is something it's not funny, but it's inspiring to actually see through. And I'm very, really proud of you. And then I'm always here if there is any way that I can contribute when it comes to this is what I really stand for. Empowering women, seeing people see the light of wherever we are. Even in my journey as a tech enthusiast at this point in time, in as much as I'm trying to learn, I would like others to see from my part. I'm always ready and happy to share my story.
Indeed, Fatih here has been one of the few people that I started my journey with, and then it's inspiring to see how far you have come. I'm not going. I don't know about myself because I am still, you know, I still have a lot of roads to run. But yeah, thank you very much, Fadi, for being here.
Thank you too.
And to everyone tuning in, this is what Women in STEM is all about. It's something uh, created to celebrate, support, and uplift women. One that we are very proud to be leading from right here at the Alkamba Times. So if
Mhm.
you or your organization would like to sponsor future episodes of Women in STEM, please reach out to us to support and help us grow the platform so we can reach more people and reach more impact as well. Thank you very much. By the way, if you loved today's conversation, don't forget to share, subscribe, and tell a friend to watch this episode. My name is Alkamba, and this has been the premiere of Remain in STEM. We'll see you next time, next week, same platform, same energy, and even more inspiration. Good evening from me.